Probably. Why? Audrey, we do now? Okay. Hello. Hi, the first timers. Are you guys having fun? Yeah! are you having fun? I thought you were really enthusiastic just now.
She's into it now.
Okay, sorry. I forgot to give a disclaimer. Program, like Facebook after I need the it's right. It's probably not going to be possible, but maybe if you come back regularly after a year, probably. All right. So we have. I'd like for all of you to you have been trying out try Ruby. So what you would the Ruby language and seeing how it can be used for you to interact with numbers. For example, 2 plus 6. To interact with strings, those that come with quotes. To interact with arrays. For example, an array is just like a basket of items. You can sort the item out from the basket, which is really like a key building blocks of Ruby. And the 30 minutes was meant to give you an experience of. It doesn't mean anything yet, right? I mean, even if you know 2 plus 6, you can't build Facebook with 2 plus 6 yet. Am I right? So let's go see how we can use all these building blocks to actually a web application. So with this, we're actually going to be using a platform called Nitros. Because to do Ruby or Ruby on Rails on your laptops, you will actually need to install the proper tools. What are the proper tools?
Start with coding in Nitros. So we can go beyond the try Ruby stuff. So log on to pro.nitros.io. If you haven't already, and sign up and follow the steps.
So all of you can follow along now. So please go to the website.
So this will take a while, few minutes.
Hold on, I didn't see it.
extra email policy.
Hello. Okay, you should come to this page. Is everyone on this page? Everyone here? Okay, just click Asia. Then you'll see a box that says free plan. Do you see a box with a free plan at the top? Yep. So that's basic. So so there are different pricing and registration model on Nitrous, basic, standard, and pro, and there's also a free plan. So you should see a box called free plan. Do you see that? Yeah, they have to click Asia, which is here, and then click free plan, which is you can't see here, but you can see on your computers.
Please remember to click Asia first,
Yep.
because if not, we are pretty far away from US, then your machine will be very slow. Yeah, so click Asia first before you click on the free plan. Alright, click on Asia first. Asia. We got it, huh? Okay.
If there are no issues with that, then you will have to verify your phone number. So just key your phone number and wait for the verification code.
About it is yes. My lemonade is not sweet. It's okay, lemonade is fine. Lemonade is fine. Okay. You want anything?
Where you go?
No, Starbucks. You are bring money.
So if you have entered your phone number and you're waiting for a verification code and it's taking a while, just go ahead and try you can go back to try Ruby first. It will take a while, so I'll come back to you in a while.
about it, but I told them to start
Okay, got technical problem. So you all work on try Ruby again first. Then we come back and set up the thing. Okay? What happened?
I think there's some issue, but that's the only step.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's called
Really limiting.
yeah, no, it's a problem with the phone verification step. So when you enter your phone number, the code is set. I think there's probably some
Some is rate limit. Rate limit how many email addresses. So IP address.
So do you do development?
Yeah, I do.
Go lah. Okay. Is there still Ruby inside or?
There's still
Okay. But Rails is only out, right?
actually, we still use
Still use Rails.
but a little bit, but mainly they use Rails mostly for Python.
Python like Ember.
Okay, for those with who have keyed in their phone and were waiting for verification, can you just refresh the page again? Is it working? All good? Any problems? Okay, I'll give you about like half a minute more to refresh your page.
What? Yes. Oh, it's a tool, is it? I didn't know about it. But I can just set it on my settings, right? I'll check it out.
Okay, okay, let's start your workspace. So click you will have this, can you all see? Okay, click workspace and then click, okay, let's do it. So there are two ways of creating a container. You click a new container here. So you can see that we support a lot of different development environments. Today we are doing Ruby on Rails, right? So just click Ruby on Rails. The name, you can call it whatever you want. Okay, and then create. So your new creating is everybody on this page. Everybody on this page.
What is still waiting for verification?
Yeah, super different.
Okay, for those who are still waiting for their phone verification to be done, just wait for maybe a few minutes and then refresh the page again. So if there's still any problems, you can ask me. Okay, my container is still being created. Is everybody's container created? Or still waiting? Created already? Okay, created already, then you should see something like that, right? Okay, so I'll wait for a while. Okay, I'll wait for a while.
Still waiting for. Okay, maybe refresh the page in about 5 minutes.
It's not like you are here, they
for those who already have this screen on their computers, I know some of you still have some issues. I'll come back to you in a while. But for those who already have this screen, let me just explain to you what all these are. So this is your container where you will write your code in and develop your application in. We have some settings over here, but don't be confused. They're just settings for your configuration settings for your environment. Like you can add ports to your container. You can also add your SSH key so that which allows your editor. Yeah, I'll come back to you in a while. Yeah, so just give me a few minutes. Yeah, so okay, never mind. You'll be coding in the web browser. So just click IDE. Oh yeah, so at all times your container and your workspace should have that green circle beside it. This shows that it is running. If they are not running, then you won't be able to access your IDE. Okay, so if you click this, you'll see this screen in the browser. This side, the right side here, will contain your files and your directory that contains your Ruby on Rails code. Sorry. Yep. So most of you will see this README. So this README is just a very basic introduction on how you can quickly get Rails application started. I think later Winston will go through the actual coding, right? Yeah. So then over here, okay, let's just. So a sample application has already been created for you. So this is your controller code. It's just a sample. This is where your code can be viewed from. The bottom over here is your console. So you can type like console commands in here. Like so, if you type pwd, just type pwd in the console. You can see that you are currently in this directory. So you're in the home directory of Nitrous. So you can type other things as well, like say ls. So this will give you a listing of the directory and files that you are in your current folder. Yeah, I think Winston will go through more about how you can use the console, so I won't really talk about that. And you can have another console window just by clicking this plus button. Yeah. Oh, okay. You can also preview your application. Just click the preview port that you want to view your application on. And then your application is running on, and then you can view your application. Yeah, I think that's all for the Nitrous.
Make it bigger.
What you want to see?
Because they cannot see.
Make what bigger?
The whatever command plus plus.
Oh, as in the font.
Yeah.
Hello, can you all see? Is everyone, anyone has any questions? Okay, yeah, so I think you can get started on coding. If you are looking at Try Ruby, you can try some of the code inside, like if you run this thing called the IRB. So you type IRB. If you're going through the Try Ruby tutorial, you can actually work on the examples on the console in the IRB console. Yeah. Is it okay? Yeah, so I think I'll let Winston take over from here and explain to you more about how you can develop your Rails app. on nitrous. Yeah.
Okay, can we give a round of applause for Audrey? Thank you so much. Hey, can I continue to use? Yeah, sorry. Okay, sorry. So are all of you at this page? How many of you not at this page? Okay, we need to get everyone on that page first. Coaches, time for you to do work. Please get everyone into this terminal. Not the terminal, but at least have something here.
Yeah, this is mine, this is mine.
For those who are not able to log in yet, maybe you can pair with the partner beside you first while you wait for the sign up to continue. Alright, so let's take a look at this.
Mandy, you want one? I'm blocking them.
Yeah, alright. My screen looks different from yours, okay? Because I'm a little bit more ancient. So yours is the newer version, but it should sort of work in a similar manner. I think the layout is pretty similar. What you have here is the file browser over here on the left, alright? Over here is where you visualize your file, which means you can view the content of your file. And below here is what we call the console. So whenever you're doing programming, you'll be typing a lot, alright? So I've done this before to kids, secondary school kids, and the feedback that they gave me after that is that, wow, I have to type so much. It's like, they didn't know they have to type so much. Okay, so you will have to type a lot. But before we type a lot, let me explain what is this console over here. So whenever you're interacting with the machine, what you're probably familiar with right now is GUI, Graphical User Interface, right? Using your mouse, you scroll over, you point, click, you don't have to do so much typing. But whenever you are using a mouse, you are, clicking on something, you are actually interacting with the machine, your laptop, your computer, and giving it certain instructions for it to do some work. For example, right now, if let's say you point your mouse to for Mac will be Finder, right? For Windows will be your File Explorer, and you double click it, your Finder would appear, or your Windows Explorer would appear, right? You're sort of opening up your folder so that you can see what are the files inside. Very fast and quick, right? But before the GUI came about, we actually had to type in order for us to tell the machine that, hey, we want to look at the files in the folder. Can you tell me what it is? So when we're doing programming, we have to go to that level because we cannot use GUI. We have to actually know some of these commands to interact with the machine. And these are some of the commands we're going to learn right now. Alright? So this console over here, you see that you have this cursor, right? This is where you can start typing some commands to the machine. Where is this machine? So this machine right now is not your laptop in front of you. It's actually somewhere in the cloud, in the internet. Somewhere where you don't know where is it, right? I also don't know where is it. But it's somewhere. So your machine is there. So we're issuing commands to your machine. This is the first command that I want you to learn. It is called ls. Alright? So type ls in over here. What do you see? Oh, no, correct. What does it mean? Code. Right, code. Do all of you have code? Oh, it's still loading. Okay. Do all of you see something? No? Oh, still loading. Oh, okay, still loading. Okay. For those who have already loaded, do you see it return you something? If you type ls, yes? Give me some response there. Yes, huh? Okay. So basically what you have done is to ask the machine, can you list me the files that are currently in this folder, right? This folder over here, where you are. So that's what it's telling you. So for example, what it's telling me is that I have one file called readme.md, and this is highlighted in purple because it is a folder. That means right now you're somewhere, you're looking at a file and another folder. Can you visualize how it looks like in your file, in your Explorer or Finder? Right? You can visualize, right? You see a file and then you see a folder. So if you itchy hand, you will go and click the folder again to go into the folder, right? So without having the GUI, this is what it tells us. So you can still interpret that. Now how do we know which current folder we are in? We are somewhere, right? We are somewhere. So some of you already know the answer. What is it? PWD. So if you type PWD, it should return you sort of this syntax, /something/something. What does PWD stands for? What? Personal something. What is it? Present working directory. Yes. Alright, so it stands for something, present working directory. So this is your present working directory. It means that I'm in /home/action. So all of these are folders, right? It's very easy to imagine that this is a folder, you're in the folder home, you're in the folder action, and in this folder action you actually have two files, right? So for most of you, you probably have only one other folder in your present working directory when you did a list just now, which is CODE, code. Am I right? The back row, is it code? So now I want you to navigate into that folder. So what you would normally do if you have a GUI would be double click. Am I right? Double click, you open up the folder, you're navigating into that folder. So how do you do it if you do not have a GUI? I cannot, it's not touchscreen. You have to type commands, right? So we can type a command. The command is cd space, and then you type in the name of the directory. So for you would be code, for me it's workspace. Enter. You don't need the slash, just cd code, enter. Does it work?
Yeah.
What does cd stands for? No. Yeah. So she got the right answer. Yeah, so it's change directory. Right? So it all means something. So now you know that you can change directory to go inside the directory. Now how do you see what is in that directory? How do you see what is in that directory? ls, right? You just learn it. So you can do ls again and see what is in that directory. ls stands for list, L-I-S-T. Alright? So, no, it's okay. This is my stuff. Don't worry. You'll probably see something different. It's okay, because every machine is different, right? So ls doesn't tell us a lot about the folder, right? I only know that I have one file and 3 directories, and that's because I remember what they are based on the color. How do I find out more about the file, about the folder? If you have a GUI, remember, you could actually sort of right click and say view time created, sort by modifier, who created this, etc., right? Size of the file. So we also want to know this from the console itself. So we can do more. We can actually issue a command, right? Or rather an option to this list command to let it tell us more about what we have in the directory. So the command is ls space -l. Alright, ls space dash. With that, then you can actually see a lot more things about the files or folder itself. I'm not going to go through in detail what all of these things stands for, right? It's a little bit more advanced. But what you can see here is that this is the date it was created, and this is sort of the file size. This is like the raw byte size. So if you want to know in megabytes, in gigabytes, you have to issue it some other option so that it will convert it for you. So GUI is very good because it gives you the sort of calculated value that makes sense to a human being, right? All of these is not so friendly, but sometimes we need some of these numbers over here. Okay, so now what you have just learned are some simple commands to interact with the machine. We haven't typed any Ruby code yet, right? So you see that we need to know how to interact with the machine first. What I'm going to do right now is to give you 5 minutes of instant gratification so that you see you can put up a server very easily. Alright, so just follow my command. So now you are probably in the code directory. I want you to do this. Okay, I want you to create this new application. So I want you to type Rails space new space shopagram. So what is shopagram? So let's build this shopagram together. So shopagram is like Instagram, except that instead of your beautiful pictures, you take pictures of what you want to buy instead. Okay, so it's like your shopping list Instagram. Alright, so please type this Rails space new space shopagram. Alright, and type enter. Something is running, right? Do you all see that something is running? Is it running? Yeah, my coaches, can you all help anyone who cannot get it to work? Is it running for you? Cookie? Oh, everyone looking at the same thing, huh? Okay. Can. So it's running. So what is it actually running? So what you are doing right now is you have issued a Rails command. This Rails command is actually newing up a server. Alright? Is creating a new Rails application for you to use. It's pretty complex, but it's okay not to know all of these right now. We're just going to go through the basic steps and see that it works, right? Before we come back again to understand how it all actually is. Alright? So it's done for mine. What you would eventually see would be, you know, completed something. Do all of you see that? Okay. Do all of you see that? Back row? Not yet? Can we help them? Kevon? The back row? Yeah. Second row before the back. Okay? Okay. haven't connect. Okay, okay. So sorry. Still running money. Okay, can, no worries. Why are you not doing? Sorry. Okay, back row. Third row okay hả? Here okay? Wonder. What's in? Oh no, okay. Okay, sorry, I have to wait a while. Back row still got problem? Rails new already, rails new. Okay. Oh no, good. Okay, while Audrey helps to figure out all those who are still having problems to log in, right? For those who are already here at this stage, I want to backtrack a little bit. Okay, remember I talked about if you want to do Ruby on Rails, you actually need to install a bunch of stuff on your machine, right? Which is Ruby, which is Rails. So with Nitros, you actually skip the step of installing. They help you install, right? How do you know that it's on a machine? We can find out if Ruby and Rails are on the machine or not. Actually, you already know that Rails is on the machine because you just ran the command for Rails. But what about Ruby? It should work lah, but let's verify. So I want you to type this command. I want you to type ruby -space-v. Okay? You should be able to see the version of the Ruby that you have installed on your machine. Next, I want you to verify the version of Rails installed on your machine as well. So we're going to type this. Rails-v. So for me, I have 4.1. What do you have? 4.2. Okay. 4.2. Okay. Good. So I have 4.1. You all have 4.2. So this verify that the box already has this. So if not, you will have to go through manual steps of installing Ruby and installing Rails. Then after that, coming back to verify that all of these are in your machine already. Alright? Okay. Can we proceed? Or do we still have problems behind? The bundle install is done, right? The bundle is Rails new is done, right? Is Rails new done behind? Last row. Scott, is there any problem? Third row is okay, right? Third row okay, huh? Okay, continue, huh? Quickly, huh? Alright, so just now you have created your application. Now I want you to type ls again. When you type ls, you should be able to see shopagram somewhere. Now I want you to go into the directory. So how do you go into the directory? So you do cd space shopagram. Right? Okay, CD space shoppagram. Okay. Okay, once you are inside, we are now going to boot up the Rails server. Okay, to verify that hey, we have a Rails server available for us. So let's type this. Rails space server. Enter. You should be able to see these following messages. Once you have that, I want you to click on preview. Do you have a preview button? Yeah, so click on preview, go to port 3000. Do you see this page? Do you see this page? Okay, because you're using Rails 4.2, you actually have to issue this command instead. Okay, you have to type this command instead. Rails server -b 0.0.0.0 4.2. Now after you do this, click on preview again. Do you get this? Yes? Okay. Got it? Okay. So what does this mean? This means that your server is running. How do you know? I might be lying to you, right? So I want you to go back to Nitrous again and press Ctrl+C to kill the server. Alright, you might need to click on it and then press Ctrl+C to kill the server. So once you kill the server, you should be in the directory again. Right? Now, try to refresh the same page. You wouldn't be able to see that page already. Alright? So this is the part where you know that, hey, that was my server running. But it's no longer running now. Alright? Any problems over here? All good? Final row? Okay? Okay, wait a minute. Okay. All good? Behind? Alright. Now for the 5 minutes gratification. Alright? Haven't 5 minutes gone already. Okay. So now we want to create a shoppagram. Right? Let's start it simple lah. Okay, let's say our shoppagram only has our shopping list of items that we want to add. That means it will contain, let's say, I want to buy grocery, I want to buy shampoo, I want to buy conditioner, right? I want to buy fruits, etc. So I probably have a shopping list, right? Or items, let's just call it items, shopping items that I want to create. So back in our console, after you have killed your server, I want you to type this. Can you all see? Oh, sorry. Generate scaffold. Sorry,
Must get them to type properly.
Okay, Rails generate scaffold, shopping items, names, string. Okay, as some of you have noticed earlier, when you're not really typing, or even though a lot of it looks like English, but we're not really typing English, we're typing instructions to the machine. So all the spaces, all the punctuations are very important. They cannot be wrong, they cannot be different. If you replace the type with a square bracket or vice versa, it will totally be wrong already. So similar, same as this. All these spaces here are important. This underscore is important as well, and this colon is important too. So you need to follow exactly, and this is what we call is the syntax. Right? This is the syntax of the programming language. So every programming language has a different syntax, but this is the syntax for Ruby. So if you type enter, it should do a lot of things. Again, am I right? Am I right? Back row okay? Alicia okay? Okay, So now, where's your web application, right? Wow, it took so long, haven't. So you can just press the up to cycle through your previous commands and find this command again to restart your server. Now if you start your server, I want you to preview your application again. Something wrong, right? Do all of you see this? Yes, something wrong. So what is wrong? Okay, so remember I told you about database. So database is your basket to store your items. Spreadsheet. It doesn't know about your, right? Because Excel spreadsheet all needs to have columns, right? So it doesn't know about it yet, which is why it's throwing you an error. It say, hey, tell me more about it. All right. So what we want to do right now is to go back, kill the server again with Ctrl+C. And type this command, rake db:/migrate. So this is initializing your Excel spreadsheet and telling your Excel spreadsheet that, hey, these are the columns I need in my Excel spreadsheet. Alright, so rake space db:/migrate. And then you type enter. And you can see that what it's trying to do is it's creating the table called shopping items, and it's actually putting the attribute name into the shopping items table. That means it's like creating your spreadsheet, right? Sheet 1. Sheet 1 will be called shopping items. It's going to add a column called name to that. Okay? So we initialize our spreadsheet already, our database. Now go back and start your server once more. Alright, start your server again. So if you press the up key, it cycles through your previous commands. So try that, and then enter. Now preview your web page again, your web application. You see this again, right? Eh? Nothing special, like I'm lying. Okay, not really. This is your default index page. We call it index page, root page. We have not changed this page yet. But actually, the commands that we have typed earlier already gave us something special. It's just not shown here. But we can navigate to it. How do we navigate to it? This is a website already. This is a web application. Right? You can see that for me, I'm pointed to I'm talented 202.422 blah 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 blah. Yours should be something else. So this is your URL. So Facebook also has a URL. If you want to go to your friend's Facebook feed, what do you type? You type your friend's name, right? Facebook.com/Michael Cheng, for example. Okay? So now we want to go to the shopping items page that we have created. So we modify the URL and you add slash shopping items, and you should see this. Shopping underscore items. Remember, the naming is important. Shopping underscore items. So go to your URL, go to that URL right here and add slash shopping underscore items. Items, yes. Yes. Okay. Third row, okay? Okay, can shopping underscore items, Do y'all see this? Okay. So you see that you have already created this page. Now I want you to go play around with this page. What can you do with this page? You can click on new shopping item. And you can actually add a name for the shopping item. I want you to go ahead and add. Try it out. Add something. What do you want to buy? Does it work? Yes? So this is now your personal shopping basket. You can use this already, right? So this is the 5 minutes gratification. You have your web server, you can add something to it and it's persisted, it's stored. You can share the link with your friends can open it up, they can see this as well. So in 5 minutes, you have a real server ready for you to use. Alright? So it's very simple for us to get started in Ruby on Rails and to actually start building a web application. Of course, this is just the beginning. What I'm showing you is a quick demo of how fast it can be if you do things properly, if you do things correctly. Of course, as a beginner, if I'm not here to help you, you'll be figuring this out and probably spend a day doing it, right? But this is what we want to do to expose you to how easy it can be to get started. It might not be very impressive yet because you do not have styling, you do not have colors, everything. But those we can add it on easily. So to give some context, this Rails, Tanya, pizza. Yeah. To illustrate, if you don't use this scaffold command, generate these things, right? You will actually need probably longer if you do it itself to actually get actions, right? We broadly call them CRUD. C-R-U-D. Why is it called CRUD? Because it's create, read, update, delete. So you have all of it already. You can create, you can delete, you can. So to do CRUD if you do it by scratch, it will take you maybe a day or half a day to get all of these done. But with Ruby on Rails, with this command, you can do it in 5 minutes or even less. If you really count how long it took, it's probably less than 5 minutes. Alright? Any questions so far? Questions? Other products? So, okay, for example, you see, I can delete the food over here. Right, it's gone. I can add pizza. I click back. Again, it shows up here. I can edit and rename this to something else. What else can I buy? Cake. Back. Now it changes. So I have all the updates, all the actions that is very common for something in the database, or something in an Excel spreadsheet. Create, read, update, delete, crack. Alright? So this is what you can do with just 5 minutes with Ruby on Rails. Yes? How do we... Alright, so play around with it, play around with it. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah, I hope you are impressed. I was pretty impressed when I did it for the first time. Any questions so far? Any questions? No. So all this, because if you count the total number of characters that you have just keyed in, less than 100 in order to get this up and running, right? Yes. Yeah, less coding achieves more, that's right. So some people call this magic. Some people like magic, some people don't like magic. Because some people feel that they don't understand magic, they're afraid of magic. And so they would prefer to have more control over what they are doing. So there's two schools of thoughts over here. But again, like I said, it's convention over configuration. So sometimes if you understand what the conventions are, you follow it properly, you won't have any problems with it. If you try and fight the conventions, then of course problems will come in. If you are advanced, you can definitely overcome the problems. But if you are not, you'll probably, be faced with an obstacle, with a roadblock. Alright? Okay. I'm gonna stop here for a while. If you do not have any questions? Cookie, any questions? Why do we need to kill the server? Okay, very good question. So someone asked me, why do we need to kill the server? When the server loads, it would actually load a lot of stuff into memory, right? Sometimes these stuff are loaded in memory, they don't refresh automatically. So you need to kill the server, do some operations before you load the server again so that it reloads the new stuff into memory. So sometimes that's why we have to do that. Any other questions? Is it similar to how you clear the cache on your browser? In a certain extent, yes. It's sort of killing the server, flushing the memory, and rebooting it again. Any questions? Any questions from this side? No? Good? Okay. Any questions from this side? No? Any questions? No? 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 Any questions? Yeah. Okay, so the question is, okay, so someone asked me the question, will we learn everything else about the framework? Then, the answer is, not today. Today is meant to give you all a taster of how to get started. Confidence in doing programming. It's not difficult. You can do it as well. Programming is just 2 plus 6, right? It's just knowing an array, knowing a string, knowing hash, and manipulating all of these together. When you come for future Rails Girl sessions, we will continue to dig into the internals and do more things with the framework, with Ruby. That's where you will learn more. Alright? So what's next would be for you all to continue to come back, or even if you are already inspired by all of these, but you feel that, you know, Ruby is not good for you, it's not really for you, you want to go to something else, like other languages, then, you know, you can continue to springboard yourself. Okay, at this point in time, I have actually invited Badehi, who is our speaker at Red.RubyConf for the last 2 days as well, to sort of give all of us, you know, a talk. She's going to share her experience where she learned Ruby on Rails in a boot camp for 3 months. Badehi, yeah. So Badehi is going to come and share her experience, you know, learning from a boot camp in New York. It's called Flatiron School, for 3 months at a full-time basis, and her experience with it, and hopefully it will inspire some of you to do some of these boot camps as well, be it in Singapore, be it overseas. So maybe we can pause the coaching for a while right now.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't stand. I'll just sit down, maybe. Yeah. So, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. I'm really not sure what time it is anymore. So I'm a little bit jet lagged still. I flew in from the US. So my name is Vaidehi. I work as a web developer in Baltimore, Maryland. I work for a small software design studio called Friends of the Web. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit today about how I got into programming, because it is probably not what you think. I have only been coding for 9-10 months, and I work as a developer. So most of the time, I kind of feel like I don't know what I'm doing, which I think is pretty normal when you're starting out. So I actually used to be a teacher. About a year ago, actually, I was teaching in a low-income community in Mumbai, India. So all of this is to say, I have no computer science background. I have never coded before, really, before I started a year ago. And to me, the idea of programming was just really, really terrifying. So like, basically my attitude towards code was like, code, no. That's not a thing I know how to do. I can't do that. That's for people who are like really, you know, analytical and logical, and I'm like, you know, I'm a writer and a teacher, and that's not something that I can ever learn how to do. So when I got into code, I was actually learning HTML and CSS. So I had a website, and I was like, well, I want to make it prettier, and I want to make this thing blue and spin, so how do I do that? And I feel like there's probably quite a few developers out there who started out that way, and it just kind of was like a rabbit hole that you stumbled into. So I got introduced to code just by exploring, and it was something that I really enjoyed. And I got introduced to Rails at a Rails Girls, just like all of you. So that was about a year ago, and it was through Rails Girls that I kind of started teaching myself Ruby and Rails. The only problem with that was it's very, very hard to learn. And I feel like there's probably people here today who kind of feel like that. Programming is very, very hard. And I decided that I needed a little bit of help to learn how to code. And that's when I found the Flatiron School, which this is a picture of what an average day at Flatiron looks like. The Flatiron School is a school in New York City that exclusively teaches people how to code. It runs 12-week immersion courses in iOS and web development. And what's really awesome about it is most of the people there have never programmed in their life. So you all kind of enter without knowing what you're doing, which is pretty fantastic because you're all lost, but you're all lost together. So you're all together in that, I guess. So at the Flatiron School, the way that the curriculum works is you do a lot of lectures, and that's kind of like how you learn the syntax of the language. We work primarily with Ruby, and then we get introduced to Rails and start building applications that way. So one of the things that I loved about Flatiron is the way that they immerse you into the curriculum. And the reason that I want to share this with you is because the things that I learned at Flatiron are things that I think everybody can kind of use when they're learning programming. So I hope in the next like 5 minutes, there are a few things that you'll be able to take away that no matter how you continue with programming, and if you continue, you'll kind of have a couple of like tips on how you can learn on your own, even if you end up going to a programming boot camp or if you continue coming to meetups or something like that. So we ended up doing a lot of immersion with the language, with Ruby, and the iOS group worked a lot with Objective-C. And we also did a lot of labs. So we would just come in to Flatiron School every single day from like 9 a.m. until 8 or 9 p.m. and just code. And like, the thing with programming is you just have to put a lot of time into it. That's the only way to get over your fear of computers. Because like when I started programming, I was just like terrified of my computer. I was afraid that I was gonna break Ruby, which you're not gonna break Ruby. It's gonna be fine. But you kind of feel like it's very, very terrifying. And the only way to get over that fear is by just doing it again and again and again and getting comfortable with it. And the other awesome thing is we had really amazing teachers. And really, they're your resources. So you guys have the same thing here with all of these amazing coaches, right? We had teachers who had been programming for 6 months and some who had been doing it for decades. So they were really fantastic resources because they knew how to guide us in learning a new language. And they knew what it's like to start as a beginner, because the beginner's mindset when it comes to programming is very different than somebody who's been doing it for like 10 or 20 years. So all of this is to say that programming is really hard, but it's not impossible. As you can see, I work as a developer now, and that did not seem plausible to me at all a year ago. So how did I end up doing it? So what I kind of want to share with you is a few things that I learned at the Flatiron School that I think I wish I had known earlier, and I hope that you guys will be able to take away and like apply it to however you continue programming. A few things is programming is just a language, right? It's just a language for computers. So the same way that you would learn any language, you kind of, I think it helps to approach it the same way. Just as if you were learning a language, you want to learn how to read it, how to write it, and how to speak it. So when it comes to code, one of the great ways to learn is by reading code. And I think it can be intimidating, like to open up the Rails source code and start reading it is very hard. But if you take it piece by piece and read small programs or small applications and just try to understand what's going on, that really, really is helpful. Also, just as if you're learning a language, you have to do it. You have to write your own programs, you have to build. And like, obviously that's something that you guys are doing here today because you're gonna be creating your own applications and they probably won't be beautiful, but it's fine because you have to start somewhere. And the more that you get comfortable building and the more that you write code, the better you're gonna get at it. And the last piece of that is talking about code. Coming to meetups and interacting with people and asking them questions, whether they've been programming a long time or whether they're just starting out, that's just gonna get you comfortable in terms of talking about programming and getting used to the different syntax and terms that are used. So a couple of the things that we ended up doing at Flatiron School is building our own applications. And like I said, a lot of them were not very beautiful, and I think that's okay. I've gone and looked back at my old applications and really, really felt bad about the code that I wrote 6 months ago. But if you don't go through the process of writing bad code, you're just never gonna get better at it. So I would suggest to all of you to keep on writing code and keep building and keep exploring in whatever context that might be comfortable for you, whether it's through Rails or JavaScript or CSS. You should just not stop doing it because that's the only way to get better at it. And the other thing that we did at Flatiron School was actually create applications and deploy them. So going through the process of learning the syntax of a language creating an application and deploying it to something like Heroku and seeing it live and sending the link to people and watching people use your applications is a great process. And I think it really lends itself to, if you are considering pursuing this as a career, it's definitely helpful to go through that process, because if you end up working as a developer, that is ultimately what you will do as a job. And again, coming to meetups, learning about new technologies that people are using, and sharing what you've been working on with other people and getting their feedback, and trying to make your applications better is only going to make you better as a developer. Yeah, so I also realize that a 12-week bootcamp is definitely not the route for everyone. So there are a few things that I would definitely say to people who maybe aren't considering a bootcamp and want to learn on your own, because there are a lot of developers out there who are self-taught, and it's a very impressive thing to do. It wasn't the right path for me because I knew I needed help, and that's just not the way I learned. But there are a few things that every developer probably goes through. So somebody once told me this at a meetup. I thought it was really corny, but I put it on the slide because I also think it's very true. Somebody once told me, the paths are many, but the code is the same. Do not judge me for this, okay? I didn't say it, they said it, but it's very, very true. Like I said, there is no one way to learn how to be a developer. There's no one way to get into programming. You can teach yourself. It can take a while. You can, be very active in the community, and then sometimes it happens a little faster. You can go to a boot camp. You can go into apprenticeships and internships. There are lots of different ways to get into code. Which is to say that no matter what path you end up choosing, you should always, always be curious and ask a lot of questions, because it's a very, very different landscape and industry, and it can be really, really intimidating when you're starting out. And a lot of younger developers kind of suffer from imposter syndrome, where you feel like you're not qualified or you're not capable, but the only way to get over that is by just asking questions and learning more. Because if you don't know it now, once you know it, that's one more thing that you understand, then you can go on to the next thing that you don't feel comfortable with. So ask questions and don't feel stupid about it. I wish somebody had told me that earlier, and I wish I had asked more questions when I was starting out. And now that I know that, I ask so many questions, and maybe it's a little bit irritating to people, but I don't care. I just keep asking questions, because that's the only way that you're gonna learn, and that's the only way that you're gonna know more. So, don't be discouraged. I also wish somebody had told me that, because when I was starting out, I would get really down on myself when I didn't understand a concept. But that's kind of the way that learning works, right? And this was something that I kind of realized when I was at the Flatiron School. If it's hard, it means that you're learning. And learning is supposed to be hard, because you're getting something new, right? If it's easy for you, that means you probably already knew it. And if it's hard, that means that you're struggling through it, and that means you're learning something new. So it's a good thing if it feels hard, because eventually, if you do it enough, it'll stop feeling hard, and you'll have a new skill. So don't be discouraged by that, and embrace the struggle, as difficult as that might be sometimes. And don't give up, because I know way too many people who really were interested in code, thought it was hard, and just didn't keep going. And every single developer and every single person out there who learns something new hits a wall. You just have to keep being persistent, keep asking questions, and keep trying, because that's the only way that you're gonna get over that hump. And if you really, really enjoy what you do here today, then even if it takes a while and even if it's hard, nothing is gonna stop you from learning it. That's the amazing thing about code, I think, is that there are so many resources out there. There's documentation. There are people who have been doing this for years and years and years. So you have the option to learn how to code. Even if it's really intimidating, you shouldn't let that stop you. Okay, so really quickly to sum up, here are 3 B's of programming that I wanted to share with you. Blog, build, and present. It really is supposed to be present, but like, 2 B's and 1 P doesn't sound as good. So let's just pretend it's percent. Blogging, I think whether you are the person who's writing the blog or whether you're using blogs, they're both important. When I was starting out, I would read a lot of blog posts to learn concepts, and really well-written blog posts will explain something as a concept and also give you examples, so that can be super helpful. And then I would also encourage all of you to start blogging, because on the one hand, it'll be great for you in like 5 months when you're like, oh yeah, look at all these things I learned. I wrote a blog post about this. Good job, pass me. So that'll be nice. And also, it's really great when you're like looking for jobs, because you have this entire resume of concepts that you understand, and you can send it to an interview and be like, yeah, I know how Rails works. Let me tell you about scaffolds. I wrote a blog post about it. Here you go. So it's a great way to market yourself as a developer, and a great way to give back to the community and learn from the community as well. Building, obviously, if you want to learn how to code, you got to write code, and if you're writing code, you can build amazing things with it that you can show to people, and that you can refactor and make better. And it also adds to your resume as a developer. And it's only going to be really helpful for you to work with code every day and get comfortable with it. And presenting, my favorite one. Go to as many meetups and events as you can and learn as much as you can. And I don't just mean like Rails and Ruby, I mean all different technologies. And speak at meetups, because everybody, I'm sure Winston will agree with me, everybody wants more people to speak at meetups, and it's really, really good for you to like introduce yourself to the community, and get feedback and meet amazing developers, because you never know where those connections might lead. So, my favorite thing about programming is that you are never, ever, ever going to know everything. And I used to think this was really horrible, and it really used to make me mad, because I used to feel like, I want to know everything, and I'm just never, there's never a thing that I completely understand. But actually, I think it's fantastic, because it means that you never stop learning. So if you feel like there's a lot for you to learn today, if you keep programming, in 5 years you probably are still going to feel like that, because there's going to be a new technology, like you'll have to like learn React, or another language, or a framework, or God forbid, 2 JavaScript frameworks. But you know, that's the fantastic thing about programming, is that you're always a beginner. So just if you keep in mind that programming is always integrated with the beginner's mindset, then it'll probably feel a little less intimidating to you, and you'll just get comfortable not knowing things. And in a way, it's really fantastic, because this field, it always keeps growing, and there's always new things to learn. So in a way, that's probably a great source of motivation, because you'll never run out of things that you want to learn and get good at. So, good luck to all of you, and I'll be around, so if you have any questions about Flatiron School or code or not code or whatever, presenting, I'll be around, so please ask me questions, and I hope all of you keep on coding. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Badehi,
No
for
problem.
coming to share your experience with all of us on, how she became a programmer. So today you sort of have already heard 2 stories from Audrey and from Badehi as well, from how they started coming to Rails Girls and eventually graduated to becoming full-time developers. I hope these 2 stories would inspire all of you as well. Okay, can we give her another round of applause?
Work on that for about a week, and then they sit down with you over Skype or something like that, and just kind of talk through how you structured your program and why you decided to do things the way you did. And yeah, it's very relaxed, and it's not anything to be intimidated by, but that's basically the process that you go through.
Is including everything down there? There's food and accommodations and everything down there?
No.
Oh, you have to arrange that, right?
Yeah, also the program I think costs $15,000 right now. The price has gone up, but they also do offer scholarships, particularly for underrepresented groups in technology and for women. So when you're applying, if you kind of highlight that in your application, that's something that they'll consider. And yeah, you do have to worry about your own housing and stuff. But they're really fantastic in helping you get set up with that. But yeah.
Yeah, and last one, age-wise, there's no criteria for that. Any age-wise concern whether you are senior citizens already, you are just in after your school.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Can you say any age-wise? I mean to say that any age.
Oh yeah. Like they don't have like age requirements at all. I think you have to be at least 18 years old. But we've had people go through the program that have been like 55 or 60. And there are people with backgrounds in finance, in education, in music, in arts, in consulting. So people from all different backgrounds. Yeah. Any other questions? No. Yes. Do you want to shout or should I? During your course, would you use any specific tools? Yeah. Any resources that make it easier to learn or anything else that helps you just underlying okay, this principle, doesn't do sort of sliding or that kind of stuff? Yeah. So before you start the course, there's actually a huge set of pre-work. It's about 150 hours of pre-work. And if you would like access to the pre-work, it's on the Flatiron School website, or you can come approach me and I can share the link with you. But basically the pre-work is the Code Academy Ruby track. There's also a Rails tutorial, and a couple other resources that I've used. Ruby Monk is pretty fantastic for learning Ruby in 100 minutes. Those are all things that I used before I started Flatiron. And Flatiron also has their own curriculum that they are now putting online through a product, which will hopefully be available, I think, in the next month or two. But their pre-work is completely free and accessible, and it goes through like setting up Git and GitHub, Ruby, Rails, SQL, all the basic stuff that you would want to know in terms of actually working on developing applications for the web. Yes, hi.
I noticed you guys are sitting side by side in the picture. So you guys are doing time already?
Yeah, so, I probably should have talked about that a little bit more. So the way that Flatiron works is you have lectures in the morning, and then in the afternoon, you basically sit with a group of your peers, and you work through labs together. So it is very much like you're programming in a group. And the really awesome thing about that environment is that they encourage you to not code on your own. Because I think when you're starting out, what can really happen is you sit down and you try to work through a problem and you spend hours on it and you don't get anywhere, and that's just very discouraging. So what we would do is we would be very much encouraged to work as a team to solve problems. And then it was also very helpful because when we would start building applications, we would build applications in groups of 2 or 3. So then you kind of like get a little bit of exposure to what it's like to develop a workflow and like separating responsibilities and like the different aspects that go into somebody like structuring how an application works versus deploying an application versus designing how it'll look on the front end. So everything is very much like interactive and in a group setting, and you're never going to be like sitting in a dark room with headphones coding. That's just not a thing that we ever really did, which is very, very helpful and indicative of what you'll do as a developer, because most companies are looking to hire somebody that can integrate into a larger team of developers and engineers and onboard. So if you have experience doing that, that's going to be a huge asset because you know how to work with other engineers and you know how to integrate into a larger team and work on a large code base as a group. Sure. Any other questions?
Not really a question, but there is a similar school in Singapore called General Assembly that's actually quite big in the US. They're just going through their first class now. It's probably a little bit cheaper for this region. And also, working in an acronym alone with headphones is quite nice.
I mean, I do it too, but yeah, it's just, it can be a little bit hard when you're starting.
Learning, but yeah.
When you get to enough of a level where you can do that, that's also very fun. Okay, cool. Well, I'll be around, so if you want to ask me a question, do not hesitate to approach me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
you. Yeah, so actually General Assembly is here. I think if you are like Singapore, I'm not sure if it's just Singapore citizens and PR, because I know it's heavily funded by government, so I think if you go to their course, I think you have a huge discount for at least the first few courses. So if you are thinking of doing that, you can check out the course on General Assembly. In fact, I am helping them with those one-time Ruby courses as well. It's basically the same thing. So some I do for paid, some I do for free, right? Okay, but anyway, so some of you asked me what's next. You have only been touching the surface. It's very superficial right now. I want to show you a video actually. So what you have gone through is sort of like the first lesson of a package of 3 or 4 lessons, right? So I've given this sort of 3 lessons to a group of students as well previously under this program called I'm Talented program. So it was a program funded by Central CDC to help at-risk kids learn more about programming. When we talk about at-risk kids, it means they are kids who might be dropping out of school, they have learning challenges, etc. So we actually spent 3 consecutive Saturdays with them to teach them Ruby on Rails. Alright, and even though the context is a little bit different in the sense that I asked them to build a hobbies website, actually it's the same. Alright, you are just building a shopping list website instead. So I'm going to show you a video. I just downloaded it from my handphone, so it's sort of like trimmed. I hope you can see clearly what they have done, but it's a video of this kid doing a demo to all the other kids of what he has built in that 3 weeks. Alright? So you can't really, but this is sort of the website he has built, and now he's trying to do a demo of what he has learned during the class itself on how he can hack YouTube. Alright, so what he's trying to do is he brought up the YouTube website. He's asking Sherwin over here to help him open up this thing called the inspector that allows him to view the source of the website. And after which, he said he really hates Justin Bieber, so he don't like this singer at all, and he wants to troll the singer. So what he's trying to do is to change this count over here, that is probably like in millions, to 0. So of course, okay, so he stopped here because I didn't download it properly. But so he changed it to 0. But of course, he understands that this only applies to himself. Nobody else can see it because this source code itself has been downloaded over here. So these are some of the things that you might start to learn as well in how websites work, how you can actually manipulate them. Not telling you to go and hack and deface other people's website, right? But these are essential skills that you can learn so that you understand what's going on when you actually see such things happening. But in any case, the main thing was actually to show you the website that he built at the very beginning. So you see that it looks very nice. It had all the pictures. You are actually able to upload your pictures yourself. You are able to sort of delete them, edit them, etc., and give it a very nice polished view after just 3 weeks. Alright, so of course we're not running Rails Girls consecutively for 3 Saturdays because I have a life as well. I think we all have lives, so we need to rest as well. Yeah. So we are only doing Rails Girls on every last Saturday of the month. And there might be a twist to it because for I'm Talented, we don't give them homework. But for Rails Girls, we actually do give a little bit of homework for you to try out after the lessons itself. Hold on. So how do you keep in touch with us? You can go to this website. It's just ruby.sg. Okay, and this is our group's website. There are a few links over here. You can see we have, when you click through this, it actually goes to the meetup.com page. You can join us as a member, it's free, and after that you will receive notifications anytime we have Ruby meetups or Rails meetup, Rails Girls meetup. So they go to the same place. Otherwise, you can also join our Facebook group, Google group, or GitHub once you are familiar with that. If you know about Slack, have you all used Slack at work? Anyone? Okay, one, so a few, right? So we actually have a sort of Slack group as well. So it's like IRC, right? It's like chat groups. You can actually join the Slack group. There are a lot of local Rubies in the Slack group talking to each other. If you are from overseas or you have overseas friend coming, we have this visiting Singapore guide that can help us improve as well. It tells our overseas friend, where to go for lunch, laksa, or whatever. On top of that, actually, okay, let me close my chat groups. We also have a special Facebook group that is only open to participants of Rails Girls. We don't allow anyone to come in because we want to make sure we are controlling whatever is being posted inside. You can just go to facebook.com/groups. Let me paste it somewhere. Oh, okay. Can also email it to you, but if not, it is this URL over here, groups/Rails Girls Singapore. So you can, request to join the group. And when we verify that you have been part of Rails Girls, we will also add you to the group. And you can actually post your questions within the group and someone will come and answer your question. Alright? Start adding yourself to the group now. Alright. Other than that, does anyone have any questions on what you have learned today? So I'm sort of downplaying it a little bit, right? It seems like nothing much, you spend 5 minutes just to create something. But actually, if you go find out about other programming languages, if you want to do this, it will actually take you a lot more time. To build these 4 simple actions: create, read, update, delete. It's not that simple. Alright? So even though we only spend 5 minutes to do the actual work and spend the rest of the time listening to me talk, but actually you have already accomplished a lot within today because you have actually already had a chance to play with Ruby itself, know about how Ruby works, and sort of have a taster of this framework called Ruby on Rails. I hope this session is useful. It helps to inspire you, teach you something, and I hope to see you come back for more. I know in some other sessions we have participants tell me that one more thing. Have participants tell me that, hey, even though you tell us we can contact you, but we never have a phone number or email or whatever. So I'm going to give you my phone number, email right now, so you can jot them down. You can contact me, okay? Yeah, don't worry. No, it's okay, it's everywhere already. It's not public information. I mean, it's public information. So, jot down my number, my email. Please feel free to call me, to email me. If you have any questions about Ruby on Rails, I'll be most willing to help you. Alright? Yeah, don't be afraid, don't be shy or anything. No question is a stupid question. Alright? Everyone is a newbie before. So just feel free to email me or call me or text me. Okay, our coaches, do you have anything to say? Sorry? Oh, okay. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I actually run with some coworkers of mine. One like this, a little bit smaller. Every Tuesday that isn't the last Tuesday of the month because of the meetup. At our office where you can come learn code, so you're welcome to come talk to me. And I'd be so keen to teach you the code. There's so many of us that are really happy to help, and I think Sherwin is one of the regular coaches as well. This guy. So if you want to come join us, that'd be great. But yeah, Ruby Tea Party, it's on meetup.com. I might try to link it with these guys so it's easy to find. But yeah, awesome. Thanks.
Thank you. Yep, so you can see we are all really passionate about helping you. I hope you don't give up on yourselves. Alright, so coding is not easy, but it's also not too difficult. If you have some perseverance and determination, I'm sure you will be able to succeed, just like Badehi and Audrey as well. Alright, if not, thank you so much for coming to Rails Girls Singapore. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next Rails Girls Singapore. Thank you. Thank you all to my coaches. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, that's the end. You can go home. Oh yeah, no, don't go home. We actually have pizzas. Where's the pizzas? Outside, is it? Oh, so we actually have pizza sponsored by ThoughtWorks. So please enjoy the pizzas outside and mingle around, talk to coaches, understand more. Yeah, and think about our sponsors as you eat the pizza. Thank you so much. Also, I think y'all should give yourself a round of applause for spending the Saturday here, right? I think y'all have done really well. Okay, congratulations for learning to code. I think it's really good, really good. Hope to see y'all again. Yes.
So here the participants, we like to say thank you, a big thank you to all. Thank you, good job.
Thank you for coming. If not, I'll be talking to a wall. Yeah.